Hello, everybody. Welcome to
Comic Gamer Movie Show.
And today I'm guest starring once again.
Yeah, he's back for some reason.
I'm always here.
He lives underneath us.
I live in the basement. I don't have a basement.
We don't have a basement.
That's what you think. But anyway, we are here to review Marvel's
Shang Chi.
Shang motherfucking Chi.
And the Legend of the Ten Rings.
And Legend of the Ten Rings. Gotta add that part to it.
That is there.
So I'm just gonna go right off the top. If you love Crouch Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Bloodsport, Jackie Chan movies, Ip Man movies, Jet Li movies, you're gonna love this movie. Because it takes all of that and just goes, you know what? What if we did it? Did what? All of it. All of it? You can't do all of it, sir. That's what you think.
Yeah, this has to be...
And a little bit of DBZ in there,
This is
too.
definitely some of the best action in the MCU. It's some of the best action...
Good.
Some of the best action in the MCU... Undeniably. Like,
Undeniably.
It's just badass. Like, there's... Not to mention, more than any other MCU movie... There's a lot more of the actors doing the actions. Like, there's not a lot of cuts away from... Except for some of the scenes where more CGI is happening, clearly. But when they're doing the hand-to-hand... Especially in the first half of the movie, the hand-to-hand combat stuff, that is really Simu Liu, you know, the guy playing Shang-Chi, doing this action. That is really Tony Leon, a.k.a. the Mandarin,
doing a lot of this
Wenwu, but they don't actually... He doesn't actually go by the Mandarin, but we're just going to call him the Mandarin for this. He's doing the action, like you see them doing the action,
and it is, and you can tell right away that they put in a lot of work to do that.
Sometimes it's such a beautiful, especially when you get to some of the more mythical parts. It's so beautiful, like the greens and the way it
looks like straight out of Chinese mythology. They even have the lions that everyone sees in front of every Chinese restaurant. Those 2 stone lions, they have them right there, and I was just sitting there going like, that is awesome.
Nine-tailed foxes.
Foxes, dragons, they have all kinds of... But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
So
go ahead and explain
the story is surrounds Shang-Chi. His father...
American name Sean, by the way.
American name Sean. His father is the Mandarin Wenwu. And Wenwu is 1,000-year-old... Warlord.
It's a 1,000-year-old Chinese warlord.
Who created the Ten Ring organization. Now, you might be familiar with that organization because it showed up in both Iron Man 3 and Iron Man 1. Mm-hmm. And as it turns out, it was
they're based off of them.
They're
not
based
actually
off of
them.
But they're not a part of them.
No.
You kind of saw, if you ever watched the Hail to the King one shot, you would know, and you probably never saw it. Sorry.
You all right there?
Mm-hmm. Sorry, they know when I get going, I don't know what something happens.
I have to burp him, people.
No, they know. My subscribers know when I get going and I get excited for some reason. Like I start choking.
We don't spit. Yeah, I feel that. I stutter.
It happens
to
me.
You guys may have seen in older videos. I do have a stutter if I get excited.
Like I get excited and start going and just
all right. Anyway,
but in this But if you saw that one shot, All Hail to the King, which is on Disney Plus, by the way, so you can go check it out if you want to after you see this. You know that Trevor Slattery, the fake actor, playing actor, he's just fucking coked up and drugged up and fucking all kinds of things.
Like some actors do.
He went to prison, and the Mandarin went into prison, broke him out to punish him for sullying his name.
For sullying his name.
And if you saw that one shot, then you know there's a real Mandarin out there.
Yeah.
And we meet the guy. We meet Wenwu. And
Wenwu, that is his name.
And he, like I said, he's been hidden in his
He's an old Chinese warlord for 1,000 years. Back in the day, he was more of a head-face ruler, but as modern times came around,
he became more of a secretive organization. Became
changed
more
with the times,
you know.
And obviously, he gets his powers from the rings,
and the rings have allowed him pretty much eternal youth. He hasn't aged a day. Since he's worn them.
There is a funny scene where he calls an old person. I'm not gonna say where it is. Yeah. He calls an old person. You better, watch it, young man. I'm just like, he looks so much.
Watch yourself, young man. I've lived 10 lifetimes.
Well, 10 of your lifetimes. Respect your.
I'm not gonna get into some of the details because I want to save that for people. The movie did just come out, so maybe I'll do something spoilery at another date. But needless to say, he after tragedy happens, he is hard on his son Shang-Chi. He trains him to be a killer. He sends him out to kill, but Shang-Chi, instead of killing, he runs away and he leaves that life.
And he leaves him alone for, what do you say, 10 years?
10 years.
Leaves him alone for about 10 years, but then
unfortunately,
fate calls him back.
He's coming back. Now Shang-Chi, 10 years removed from dealing with his father, with his friend Katie, You know, he's trying to build a life for himself, but now he's...
It was Sisu from Raya.
Yeah.
Just so you know who's we're dealing with here.
So she's really in Disney's pocket right now.
She's really in Disney's pocket right now.
She's like, I like it over here, man.
The Asian Jeff Gordon, that was a funny fucking joke.
but like, so... And now this, you know, the past is coming back back for him. He has to reconcile with who he is, who he wants to be, his father, his mother.
A lot of internal soul searching.
It's a family drama. It's like at its core. Once you get past the amazing martial arts, the beautiful design, and all this cool stuff, and the great characters. It's a family story. It's a story about family. It's a story about tragedy. It's a story about going too far. What love can do to you.
What love can do to a person.
You know, and in running away, and how you have to accept yourself, and that means all parts of yourself.
Yeah, both the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And that's really what the movie is about at its core. Now, like I said, Simu Liu as Shang-Chi is great. He's truly a relatable character. He's truly a down-to-earth guy.
Yeah, he's not like what's-his-face from Mortal Kombat, but...
let's not talk about that.
We're not talking about that. But much better.
But like Simu... I always say his name.
Simu Liu.
Simu Liu.
A.K.A. Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. Shang is... He has this quality about him that Jackie had, ironically. Where Jackie Chan always had this quality about every movie he was in, where you never felt like even though you knew he was going to beat everyone's ass... There was always this doubt.
Because
he always had doubt on his face.
Yeah.
He always had doubt on his face. He never looked like he was overpowering them.
No.
And he always had this way about it where he was trying to avoid the fight altogether, but he's just, I have to fight.
Yeah.
And Shang has that. He has that, I'm doing this because I got to. I would rather not, but I'm doing this. And I'm
very Shaolin Monk-esque.
Yes.
So,
and it made him really relatable. But I actually think that the best character in this movie is Wenwu,
the Mandarin.
He is just, his story is great.
Oh man, his personality is so like, you want to like hate him, but he's such a calm and cool customer.
Yeah, he's just a calm, cool, and when he gets angry, you're nervous.
You're nervous because he doesn't get loud, and he doesn't get loud and boisterous.
When
he's mad. You know he's mad, but he's very
He has this
calm.
fierce look in his eyes when he's angry, and you're just like, I'm about to die.
Yeah, pretty much.
He's such a great villain.
He is. He's a terrific villain.
I will put him. I'm gonna just say this. He's top 5 MCU villains.
Oh, he broke the top 5.
He's definitely top 5 MCU villains. Like, I don't know, like Killmonger and Thanos and Loki.
He's up there though.
He's
probably number 4. Whoever was number 4 just got kicked off their spot.
And then you got Vulture.
So it's Vulture, him, and then
look, he's in there somewhere. Yeah. Someone got kicked out. I don't know who, but he is in there. Wenwu, Mandarin, he was great. He had some great sequences. Great sequences. Another thing, the use of the 10 rings. Now, comic book people were upset initially.
Because they're finger rings.
They're finger rings, and they were like, why aren't they finger rings? Why don't they do the same thing? And like, okay, sure, maybe that's a bit of a departure.
They simplified it.
But those kind of rings have been used in martial arts.
Yeah.
The arm rings. Those have been used in martial arts and weight training. And training for Shaolin monks and whatnot, the rings on the arm. So the MCU decided to do something, one, to differentiate it from Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Because there would have been that comparison immediately that, oh, cool, so another finger bling to, use different weapons
I can see that.
So they wanted to
Plus, they make sense combatively because when he uses them, he extends them out. They freeze in midair. Like you can use them as a whip. Like they can use them
to block stuff. Like at the beginning of the movie, shot like a shit ton of arrows.
And he just basically spun them around, and it was a really cool scene. But because in the comic books, the rings have different powers. Which don't get me wrong, the rings from the comics still are unique because they all have different things they can do, and that's cool. But again, they're all really magic based. But this one looked more like you got to have some skill to use the damn.
Yeah, like you can't just pick these things up,
put them on your fingers, and just be like, "Oh, look at me!" Like, no.
You have to have the ability to use
and I appreciated that. It wasn't just.
I love the way they looked. I love whenever they would return the noises they made. I love the creativeness of how he used them, like how he would use them to like lift himself long distances.
Yeah. and there was a scene too where he put all 10 on one arm, and it increased his punch so strong. It was nuts. Like he would send people flying in orbit. Like that's what. Not like I'm exaggerating.
I mean, maybe he probably
He
could.
probably could have.
He could grab people with it and throw them. And
the 10 rings are
he
very.
He could use them as a weapon to.
Yeah.
He was dodging. He was blocking shotgun fire, like direct, straight up shotgun fire, which is bing. Like
yeah, he would toss them, throw them at people. They were high projectile. Like it was
projectiles.
They're scary. That's that. Like
you can use them to walk on. Like
yep.
you can use them to leverage and
pretty much
the versatility of those rings.
Yeah, they're scary. They're scary versatile. I don't know Thor's hammer is scary because it's powerful, but these are scary in a different way because they don't look like much. But when he gets going with them, it's like, oh shit.
it is cool. It is really cool.
There's and oh my god, there's so much we could say, but I feel like we'd be spoiling.
Yeah, there's nothing really else we could say other than the martial arts.
The pacing was fucking phenomenal. It
flew by.
It flew by in a good way. And it kind of sucked too because I was like, oh man, I want to see more. It was kind of like, I want to see him again. Yeah, it'll be a while before we see him again. The pacing was fantastic. It felt like a really smooth, it felt like all the good things in Kung Fu movies and Marvel literally were tossed in a bowl and stirred, and we got Shang Chi, and it was like.
Now, maybe I can't speak to this, but to me, it felt like a celebration of Chinese cinema. Of martial arts films,
because they did a lot of practical moves. They did a lot of moves.
There's a lot of
there was a lot of I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a lot of moves that were a lot more fanciful than practical. But it blended with the practical moves so well that you kind of went, man, this is like something you see like an old Chinese writing or something. It was awesome.
Now I will say to you this: there are some people who are kind of over superhero movies who really were down on the third act because they're like, it's too much CGI, it's too much that, it's too much, it's the same old kind of third act.
I didn't give one fuck. It looked so good.
But to me, I didn't have a problem. Like,
nope.
The only part that I was like, okay, that was so hard to follow was near the tail end. It's a little bit much.
Yeah, it is a little bit much.
Near the tail end, but once it was like, that's a lot.
Yeah, once it happens, it clicks in your head, and you're like, okay, that was what was going on. But other than that, like, it was a joy.
The final battle with him and his father was some Dragon Ball Z shit, and you'll know what I'm talking about when you see it. It was straight up some anime shit.
Yeah, it was straight up some anime stuff.
This is fucking awesome.
No, and it was awesome. It was like the good part about that stuff, but can't really think of anything else.
I got my grade for this. I got what I'm giving this. I'm giving Shang-Chi. I'm giving it a 9.5.
That's the highest score he's given one in a while. Okay then.
I thoroughly enjoyed this film, up and down, bottom and top.
Yeah.
It was just so much fun, and it's just like the martial arts was just so cool. Oh man, I had a great time.
I'm gonna follow your lead on this because I love Kung Fu movies. Like even though I'm kind of late to the game, I've seen a lot of them.
Love Kung Fu movies.
Yeah,
Shout out to my mom. Showed me so many.
Yeah, but I came late to the party because I didn't really watch Kung Fu movies when I was a kid. But as an adult, I've watched so much. Like I love Bloodsport. I've recently watched Enter the Dragon, and I loved it. I love all that stuff. And I following your lead. I'm gonna give it a 9.52 because I was blown away. There was not a moment in this movie I was bored.
There's nothing I didn't like about it. There's really not anything I didn't like about the movie.
Nope.
Other than, like I said, other than maybe on the tail end.
Yeah, what?
It got a
5
little,
minutes of
it got a little. It got a little much near the tail end. Sure.
Yeah, and it was great.
And
plus the post-credit scenes are really cool.
And
so please stick around.
And the character dies who I would have liked to not have died. Other than that.
Yeah, but I think you and I agree it made sense for him to die because he wouldn't be a villain anymore. So, I mean, but granted, it's small stuff.
Yeah.
If that, but I really have nothing more to say. I'm telling you guys, go see it, please.
Yeah, go see.
If you love kung fu fighting, China. If you love cheesy kung fu movies, good kung fu movies, hell, even bad ones that make you laugh, go see this one. I'm telling you.
So far,
if you're a fan of Ip Man, Jackie Chan, Jet Li,
so far,
Bruce Lee,
best movie I've seen this year.
Oh yeah,
so far, it's.
We still got 2 more Marvel movies left.
I know, right?
We'll see how long we hold that.
Eternals comes out, and then Spider-Man: No Way Home comes out. So, I mean,
But anyway, no, please, if you're a fan, if you're a Marvel fan, Kung Fu fan, whatever, please go and see it because right now they need as much theater support as they can get.
Honestly, too, if you're just a Kung Fu fan, go see it.
Oh yeah, if you're just a Kung Fu, you don't give a shit about Marvel.
Its connections to the MCU, they're there, but it's not so much so that you need to see.
No,
you don't actually have to see any other Marvel movie.
Nope, you really don't
to get the enjoyment out of this.
Plus, if you're a fan of Iron Man 1, it does have that vibe to it. It has a cool Iron Man 1 vibe, which I thought was really awesome that they did. So anyway, guys, any closing remarks?
That's all I got.
That's all I got, too.
Wrap this up. Go see Shang-Chi.
9.5, 9.5. Go see Shang-Chi, whether you're a Marvel fan or just a Kung Fu fan.
Yeah, if you love movies, action movie
fan, go see it. Thank you for joining us on
Comic Movie Show.
Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more of us in the future, and we shall see you
on the next one.
Goodbye.